No, have we have final year students and also the students who
Okay.
have passed out.
It's the ladies' college, isn't
Yes,
it?
yes, women's college.
Is the voice clear? I mean, it's audible, isn't it?
Yes, it is audible. Clear.
Yeah, your both of you are very clear for me.
Okay, ma'am.
So when we have the interaction, will Twinkle be moderating or Ashley?
Yeah, twinkle, twinkle, twinkle.
Okay. Twinkle, were you named after Twinkle Khanna?
No, ma'am. Actually, my maternal grandfather named me so. I don't know if he was aware of Dimple Kapadia and Twinkle Khanna.
Okay. But anyway, I'm sure you are the twinkle, twinkle, little star here.
Thank you, ma'am.
Oh, it's 69. Little while ago, it was 22. I think they are joining in very quickly.
The biggest problem is connectivity, because
I know.
it's a huge problem even here across the country. I mean, we have students from across the country, and I don't know why internet is such a problem. As in, it goes off in the afternoon, many people, because the data gets over by 1:30.
Yeah.
All kinds of things on a daily basis. Everywhere this is the situation.
Yeah.
It's not so much lack of mobile, gadgets. Gadgets people have, but connectivity is such an issue.
Yeah. Even with just a call, mobile phones, you will find people are not able to make themselves.
Yeah, it keeps going on.
Yeah, and they have to go to some corner and stand in some particular position, and it's terrible. So imagine having classes this way. I can't imagine.
And I have students who come in like 3-4 times. So it must be so frustrating to go out, come back, go out, come back.
Yeah. And for you also, when you're taking the class, you will find that someone has left the meeting. So when you see that, you will think that they have walked out or something. First, I used to get quite alarmed, someone has left the meeting, then I understood that this is what it is.
True. Twinkle Miss, should we start? I think.
Yes, sir. We can start now.
The 100 mark.
A very good afternoon to everyone. Kindly cooperate with a few instructions for the smooth functioning of the program. Please note that during the course of this event, all the participants will be muted. During the interactive session, please type your questions in the comments. Please refrain from sending private message again with a silent prayer. Please maintain silence for a few moments. We have gathered on this online platform for the concluding session of the second edition of Look Ahead lectures and workshop series. Look Ahead is a series of lectures and seminars held for the benefit of final years and passed out students to guide them in their academic and career choices after college. Deyapuram launched Look Ahead last year to help the students community sail through the uncertainties posed by COVID-19 situation. I request Ms. Afia of third year BA Functional English to deliver the welcome address.
A very good afternoon, everyone. Last year, the Abram Arts and Science College for Women initiated Look Ahead, which is a series of lectures and workshops intending to provide an insight on higher education and career plans for the final year and passed out students amidst the COVID-19 pandemic situation. After the successful completion of the first edition, today we are moving on to the second edition of Look Ahead with the idea of guiding the student community towards an ambitious and fruitful career path. Who may some of them have now been able to join us online, so extending our welcome to them in their absentia. Let me begin by welcoming Dr. M. Bashir, Chairman, Al-Islam Charitable Trust and President of the College Managing Committee. A heartiest welcome to our patron, Siti Abdurrahim sir. Let me extend a warm welcome to the guest speaker of the day, Ms. Khairunisa A. Welcome, ma'am. Next, I'd like to welcome Dr. N.P. Ashley, Assistant Professor, St. Stephen's College, New Delhi, and volunteer in charge of the APRAM. Welcome, sir. I'd also like to extend a warm welcome to Dr. Srividya N.T., Principal, the APRAM Arts and Science College. Let me welcome all the teachers, students, and participants of this event. A very warm welcome, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, let me request Dr. N.P. Ashley, Assistant Professor, St. Stephen's College, New Delhi, and volunteer in charge, Deapuram, to address the online gathering.
Thank you, Steffi. I have a very brief cameo role today with Khairunisa ma'am going to speak today, and I'm very glad that we have Khairunisa ma'am today as our concluding speaker of Look Ahead series. Look Ahead series, as has been mentioned, started when looking around became difficult. We were helpless, we were stuck, we were lost. So let's look ahead into a future that we will be building. That was the idea. And when you work with that kind of a mission, when you work with that kind of an idea of looking into a future that's already not there, it's very important to have exemplary figures, energetic writers, great mentors, wonderful mentors in our midst. The people who concretize, who embody certain life values, a certain courage, a certain energy, a certain care, a certain imagination. And I find Khairunisa ma'am, as she's fondly called by her students from All Saints College, and the award-winning writer, noted writer, the hearty writer she is for many thousands of readers. So she is one, as a mentor, as a writer, as a person who could inspire and converse us ahead into a wonderful future. I name Khairunisa ma'am. I consider Khairunisa ma'am as such a figure. It's important to have such figures who energize us, who take us ahead. So in our act of looking ahead, it's these figures who are forever inspiring. So I'm very glad she's here. And I'm very glad we have had, starting from Ajoy Ashirwad of the Deputy Editor of Wire, different sessions on how to be together, how to come together, how to grow together, how to imagine new things, how to think of new cities, new courses, new ideas, but the question, the most important lesson of the pandemic, of Corona, is that we survive together, we grow together, we move ahead together, and everything together we shall, and divided in antagonist to each other, we perish. So, it's our health is not our thing, it's a social thing. Our well-being is not our thing, it's a social thing. We are well, we are happy when the last of us, the lost of us, the least of us actually are happy. That's the message with which the ABRAM was founded, and that's the message with which we are trying to sail through these difficult times in what looked like the last phase of this. We don't quite know, it could go whichever way. I hope all of us stay healthy, but it's our kindness, it's our consideration, it's our care, it's our hard work, it's our imagination that'll take us ahead. And we're all drained out of energy. So we need this coming together, this sitting together, this hearing, listening to each other as a very important thing. And at the heart of it, at the center of it, somebody like Harith-Nisa ma'am is really a great privilege. So with all those, with that understanding, with that recognition, I thank all of you, and I thank Harith-Nisa ma'am. I look forward to a great session today. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. I would Srividya NP to address. Us. I would like to request our principal, Dr. Srividya NP, to address us.
Okay, hello. Am I audible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Miss. So good afternoon, one and all here. From last year, we have started this Look Ahead series. And as you know, the title Look Ahead. Yes, we are looking forward and we are the survivors. We have survived for last 1.5 years. And we are here from last 18th September. From this 18th September, from this last Saturday, we are with something like question paper solving, discussions, interactions, all that. And in the Look Ahead series, second edition, all teachers, students, external experts, our technical team, all were there with great enthusiasm. And we are very happy. I am very happy to say that all our students, our pass out students were included in all these sessions, and they were very much happy. And I came to know that from their feedback. And for the coming years, I would like to continue with this kind of Look Ahead series or this kind of interactions. As we know, we are not there for anyone. We are always there for looking as, in and around us for something, for doing something for the helpless. And according to Dayapuram, we are there for our students always. And here we have Harith-Nisa ma'am, a well-known personality, a teacher, a mentor, and an author. So we are looking forward for the session. All the best for the entire team. Thank you.
I think Steffi has some network issue. Next, I will request Ms. Kripa of 3rd BPA to introduce the speaker.
There is some kind of problem there. We are not able to. I'm not able to hear anything. I don't know about others.
Yeah, there is some network issue.
Yeah,
I can't hear anything either.
Yeah. Kripa is muted, I think.
Yeah, Kripa is muted. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Ms. Harith-Nisa A is an Indian author of children's fiction, speaker, academic, and a columnist who created the comic character Amakishan, also known as Butterfingers. The character first appeared in the children's magazine Tinkle. Ms. Harith-Nisa did her schooling in Holy Angels Convent, Trivandrum, and her UG studies in All Saints College, Thiruvananthapuram. She did her postgraduate degree as well as MPhil from University College, Trivandrum. Ms. Harith-Nisa worked as Associate Professor of English at All Saints College, Thiruvananthapuram. She was appointed as Management Trainee in Punjab National Bank and worked there for 2 years before resigning to take up a teaching job at All Saints College. She was a columnist for the New Indian Express, writing on classics and well-known works of fiction, and for the Hindu, where she had a popular fortnightly humor column, Inside View, in the Hindu Metro Plus. She has freelanced for publications like Outlook Traveler, Manorama Yearbook, and Kerala Calling, among others. Her first book for adults came out on 31st July 2019. Titled Tongue in Cheek, The Funny Side of Life, the book is a humorous take on the experiences of a modern urban woman, has been published by Westland. Miss Kairunisa's first 3 children's novels, House at Butterfingers 2010, 4 Gold Butterfingers 2012, and Clean Bowl Butterfingers 2015 were followed by 3 collections of short stories. The Misadventures of Butterfingers 2016, Run It's Butterfingers Again 2017, and of course It's Butterfingers 2018. All the Butterfingers books were launched by Shashi Tharoor, Member of Parliament. Smash It Butterfingers, a rollicking badminton-based novel and the 7th in the Butterfingers series, came out in July 2021. Butterfingers, Mrs. Kairunisa's entry for the annual All India Tinkle Short Story Competition for adult writers of children's fiction in 1996, won her the 2nd prize. She went on to win the 1st prize at the competition for the next 7 consecutive years from 1997 to 2003. In 2007, she won the prestigious Unison Children's Fiction Award. She has also 5 Children's Book Trust prizes to her credit. Ms. Kairunisa, ma'am, I would invite you to take over the session.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Kripa, for bringing out my story in a nutshell. And first of all, I would like to thank Dr. Ashley for inviting me to this session. I think he's the one who first sounded me about this Look Ahead, a wonderful name, Look Ahead, because we are not going to look back. I don't think we are going to look around. Looking around, he said, is not really a very happy thing, and therefore we need to look ahead. Respected principal, Dr. Srividya, Twinkle, and there are so many other dignitaries here, teachers, students, people in charge of Look Ahead, who are really looking ahead, each and every one of you. I'm very happy to be here with you at your concluding session. Yes, it is the pandemic year. We said last year it was the pandemic year. Now it has become pandemic years. I think very soon we will have pre-pandemic, pre-corona, post-corona era. I really do not know how things are going to be, but whatever it is, we have seen the kind of changes that we never thought we would see in our lifetime. Actually, it's like something out of a science fiction book. What has happened? I mean, who would ever have thought that we would all be walking around with masks on our faces? Everyone, from a little child to an old man, and then there is this double mask, and then there is social distancing, and we are, I don't know, it's so strange. I'm sure if somebody, and there have been kind of writings almost like forecasting something like this, 1 or 2 novels had come, and there were people who were saying that this kind of jumping of species would happen. There would be some terrible pandemic, but whenever somebody sounded these alarm bells, we always chose to think of that as something that will happen much into the future, not for us. That's how we are all tuned to think, right? That things will not happen to us. Climate change. Whoever thought that we would see all these terrible things happening in our lifetime? I mean, it's really frightening, the devastation that is around us. I seriously, I never thought that we would see so many historic events. That is also happening, social events, cultural, then with reference to the climate, then disease. I really don't know. We are seeing a lot of changes. And let's now not think that all these changes are happen just like that. They're all a result of what has been happening for a long, long, long time. Nothing is isolated. Everything is linked. If we are facing all these problems now, it's because it is not like we did something bad earlier, not those kind of things. It is because did bad in the sense of we have been hurting nature for a long time. This was bound to happen. We have been very careless. This was bound to happen. So in that way, we have not been particularly responsible in our desire to make our world a civilized world, in quotation marks. So this is what we have got now. So, and therefore, so Ashley, you said that I'm the right person with you. Gave me so many, what to say, so many nice things you said. Thank you very much. I really do not know whether I will fit in for all that you have said, but thank you. And Ashley was saying that I should talk about my journey and tell you what happened so that you get prepared for your journey. But let me tell you that everybody's journey is different. And journeys don't happen because of great planning either. You have to make your own journey. Sometimes it is an impulsive thing. Sometimes it is a sudden change of itinerary, you could say, that causes you to take up something else. So there are a lot of things. But before I talk about this journey, I have to tell, what I want to say is that all of you are either students, I mean, other than the teachers and office bearers and so on, most of you are students who have either just completed their course, or I hope you don't mind being called students still, and the ones who are in the final year. I know that sometimes you can be very touchy about that. I'm not a student, I have passed out. I remember how when I was in college, there was this, they call the senior students Chechi. My college, I studied in All Saints, and like Dayapuram College, nice name, Dayapuram. And that was also a women's college. And every junior student has to call the senior student Chechi. Otherwise, they demand, you have to call me Chechi. I am senior to you. When we were studying, that was not there. We called everyone by name. That didn't mean that we didn't respect our seniors and so on. But there is slowly things were changing, and they were demanding this. And I realized that people are getting very conscious of their positions, of what they are, how they must be respected. Though I always believe that respect, you shouldn't command or demand respect. You should win respect by the way you are. That is what it is all about. So in case you feel you don't want to be called a student, I'll say that ex-students, all right, who are here, who had just been students. What I want to tell you that is you're living in a very special times, we can say, because there's a lot of frustration. As Ashley said, we didn't want to really look around. That's why we thought we will look ahead and see what we can do. But I really don't think we need to despair so much. I think we have to, you have got this nice name, Look Ahead, because it's exactly what we have to do. It is true that we have gone through a lot. There is so much unhappiness. So many people lost jobs. Your education has gone for a complete 6, I should say. You don't know when your exams will happen. Exam dates are fixed, then they are changed. Then they say, now let's have actual exams. Then they say, no, it's going to be online exams. So every day there is a change. There is so much of confusion, so much of frustration. And when I see all this happening among the students and among the teachers are finding it very difficult too, to take classes, online classes. Why this has happened is because we were not prepared for it. Had we been prepared, had we been told that something like this is going to happen, we are going to use technology much more, therefore we will give you training, students are trained, teachers are trained, they are given the right what to say, the digital things that are necessary, then you're prepared for it and everything happens smoothly. This is like, you just plunged into the water. Before you, nobody knew this was happening, and one fine day, everything became online. What do you do? How do you cope? Everyone was going through a very, very difficult time. Teachers, students, parents, people who were working, lots of people lost jobs. I mean, it's unbelievable the kind of havoc that this germ has created. And this germ won't go away easily. It's getting mutated. It's saying, if you're trying to destroy me, okay, I will mutate. There will be another variant. There'll be another variant. So it's all, again, very frustrating. So what I would like to tell you is that don't worry. Don't get upset about this. Just take it as part of experience. Just imagine about, you could tell your children that you lived at this time, that this happened. They would love to listen to you. Do you know this coronavirus happened, and then this happened, and this took place, and we had to learn everything online, and we needed gadgets, we needed this. And they would say, you really lived through all this? Wouldn't it be nice? So think of it as part of experience. We can't change it. So I won't say enjoy the experience, but use the experience. Think of what is happening. And with the future, you will have jobs again. Those of you who are waiting, I would like to say that it's just a nice thing. If I were in your place, you know what I'd be doing? I would be reading books. I would think this is such a wonderful opportunity, such a lot of time I'm getting to sit and read books, because there's nothing like reading to make you feel better, to make you understand the world better, to make you, there are so many advantages, but most importantly, you just love the different worlds you go into. You just enjoy reading. And also, wherever I read when I was your age, I have not forgotten. This is the time when things just remain in your head forever. You should take this opportunity to enjoy. Don't just watch movies, also use this opportunity to read, because you won't get such an opportunity again. Once you get your job, where will you get this kind of leisure to read? So I would like you to do that. Now, coming to what my journey, I will very quickly just tell you what happened, which is everyone's journeys. You start on a journey and then you realize that this is the path you want to take. For me, it was English and literature. I come from a large family, 8 children. I was the youngest, still am. And my father, if you look at it, my father, he was a postmaster, and he wanted to educate his children. In those days, 7 girls and 1 boy. And he also faced opposition from relatives who said, why do you want to educate your daughters? You educate your son. You don't have to educate your daughters. So what should you do with daughters? Marry them off. All right, that is all that should be done. But my father said, no, I want to educate my daughters. And to give him credit, he decided to settle down in Trivandrum, because Trivandrum had good schools and colleges. You can't take 8 children and keep on. He was in the postal department. Here, you can't change schools and colleges. So he decided to settle down in Trivandrum, and that's how we came to Trivandrum, and we settled down here. So we were all going to schools, colleges, and at home, there were lots of books. We all love to read. So this reading was happening. And a house has to have books. If you are going to enjoy reading, I think one of the things that tempts you to read a book is the physical availability of books. So at home, there were books. At home, there were people reading books. So you're watching people reading, you're watching them enjoy reading, you are tempted to read. And I started reading that way because my sisters were reading books, and I enjoyed it. And I fell in love with English literature. My mother used to call me to teach me Urdu, because that's my language. And I used to slip out to go and read English. Of course, I can read Urdu with difficulty, but not the way you can read English, just one glance and you see the whole thing. No, I'll have to string the letters together. So it was, and English became my passion. So when I finished my schooling, by then I had a lot of other ambitions, of course, like everybody has. And when I when it was time to go to college, I had pretty good marks in for my 10th standard. So at home, they wanted me to do only 2 options, like now almost, engineering, medicine. So they wanted me to go for medicine. And I said I wanted to do literature. I wanted to do 5th group. 5th group was in All Saints had this literature component. My father said, okay, you do what you want. And I took that. I came home that evening and big drama at home. How could you do this? You should go for science. You should take science. Go and change your group tomorrow. That was, my sisters, my mother, they were all going on telling me I have to change my group. So next day, I bowed down to all this. I went to the principal, Sister Amata, her name was, and I told her, Sister, I want to change my group. And then she asked me why. And I said, everyone at home wants me to change my group. And then she said, what did you want? What do you want? Yesterday you came and took 5th group. Your father was with you. I said, yes, yesterday it was a different story. So she said, so you want to do 5th group? I said, yes. Your father? I said, he doesn't mind. Then she said, then you do 5th group, do literature, and show your people at home that this is what you will be good at. So I came home. I didn't change my group. I came home and said, the principal said I must study 5th group. Then she said I must continue with 5th group. And that was what happened. So from there, so you notice that I had to fight to do English literature. And then I did BA English and MA. That's a natural path. Went in for teaching. I taught in Holy Angels, but then that's a temporary job. So I was applying to for many courses. Got this job as an officer in Punjab National Bank. And at that time, I was teaching in a temporary vacancy in All Saints College, and I get this job. Bank officer's job is a plum job. Everybody, you know how it is. People only look at the salary. So again, there was pressure on me to resign and go take up this bank job. I did that. And 2 years I was in the bank. But those 2 years, much as I loved those 2 years because I met a lot of people, I learned what banking was all about. I like maths in the sense I like numbers and so on. So that was okay. And I went all over India for training. But one part of me was wanting to get back to books, get back to literature, get back to teaching. And I came back. And then when there was this, I saw that All Saints wanted teachers. And I applied and I got it. And again, I had to make this decision, resign from a bank job and go for a teaching job, which was going to give me a salary that was 1/3 what I was getting in the bank. Again, people told me, you're being foolish, you're being stupid, a lot of names I was called. And I said, but my husband backed me and I took the decision. So it was a question of, regularly taking decisions to follow what you want to do. And I went into teaching and I loved teaching. I enjoyed teaching. I was so glad. I didn't care about the salary being much lower. I know how to live within my means. So we managed that. And then, of course, much later when UGC happened and the salaries just jumped, then those people who were critical said, you did the right thing. After so many years, I did the right thing when I got much better salary. But I knew always that I did the right thing as far as I was concerned. I don't know about others, but for me, that was the right thing. And I'm so glad that I did that. So that was my teaching. That was how I followed my dream. And that was what I wanted to be. A teacher in a college. I wanted to, in school too, I enjoyed teaching. In fact, some of my most beautiful experiences were in school when I was teaching the 10th standard ICSE, 9th and 10th. So here I was teaching, and that is when my writing career took off in a very quiet way. I think Kripa already told you, Butterfingers was my entry and it got a prize. So I was very pleased. All India competition for adult writers of children's fiction. My son was small. We used to get Tinkle. I saw this, they were calling for entries and I sent an entry. That's it. But the story would have ended there with my sending this entry and getting the second prize, because I did not really want to become a writer. I sometimes call myself an accidental writer because that was not my ambition exactly. I love writing. I love writing articles in book magazines. I love writing this and that and so on. I enjoy that. But being a writer is different from liking to write, enjoying writing and so on. So this, I just happened to send that entry, I got the prize. But the turning point for me was when a few months later, two people came to my house, strangers, a lady and her husband. And that lady told me that she was the assistant editor of Tinkle. Now I'm in Trivandrum. Tinkle office is in Mumbai, then Bombay. This was in 97. And she said, I was shocked. Imagine an editor coming to your house. And she said, but don't think that she came all the way to see me, okay? She came because she wanted to meet her in-laws who were in Trivandrum. But when she said she's coming to Trivandrum, in Tinkle, they liked my story apparently. And they said, if you're going to Trivandrum, why don't you go and look up this person who wrote the story? Find out if she's as lively as her story. The word she used was bubbly as the story. And this lady actually came with the address in her hand. And she said that I wanted to meet you because everyone said I should meet you. And then we got talking and she asked me, are you sending an entry for the next year's competition? I said, no. She said, why not? I said, I've already got a prize. So then she laughed and she said, what low ambitions you have. One prize and you're so pleased. You should write. So for me, that's a turning point. She encouraged me. She said, you have to write. We go by the quality of your story. Your story is good. Your story was good. Therefore, you got a prize. Now you write. There's an independent panel of judges. You have to write, she said. Because she encouraged me, I wrote. I sent an entry and that got the first prize and then it went on like that. So the writing bug bit me. Next, Indian Express asked me to start a column, then Hindu, it went on like that. And then Tinkle came back to me and said, we want a regular character for the magazine. Can you create a character? I said, I've already got a regular character. He's living in my head. Butterfingers, my first story, that character was my favorite character. So Luis Fernandez, who was the associate editor at that time, he said he was new. He didn't know about Butterfingers. So that was 97, this 2006. So I call it the second innings of Butterfingers. He said, you send 2 or 3 stories. Let us see if Butterfingers has the wherewithal to go from, to sustain himself as a series. So I sent 2 stories. He liked them. And that was how Butterfingers became a regular feature in Tinkle. It became a hugely popular serial. Hugely popular. It was very, very popular. And so that was going on. And then I approached Penguin with the short stories because just very briefly to tell you what happens in the comic format, my stories were long stories, 2,500 words, sometimes even 3,000 words. So I send those stories. Another person steps in. That is the script writer. So the script writer takes my stories and converts them and writes a script, puts them in those panels that you see, right, in comics. And then the third person comes in. So you see it's a 3-pronged and 3 of us are there in it. The illustrator, extremely important because it's the pictures in comics that really attract you first. And so that comic strip format, the rights are with Tinkle or first India Book House, then Amar Chitra Katha. But the longer stories, copyright is with me. So I got this idea of publishing the longer stories as a collection of short stories. With these stories, I approached Penguin. I sent them as a submission. Thankfully, the editor liked the stories. Otherwise, they won't get back. And she got back to me. She said, I like it very much. It's humorous. I like the background. I like the characters. I like this. And I knew something was going to happen. I like, but yes. So what is it? But we don't publish as a rule short stories by a single person. We publish anthologies, but not short stories by one person. Can you think of writing a novel? I never thought of writing a novel, but the request is coming from there. Can you think of writing a novel? I didn't want to tell her I have never thought of writing a novel. No. Here I'm getting something. I wanted to take maximum advantage. That's another thing you must remember. When something happens, grasp your opportunity. And I said, I'll try it. Let me see. And I sent a synopsis. That was the first story, the Butterfinger story. I thought that had enough meat in it for a novel. I sent that. She liked it. That was not enough. Send me the first 2 chapters. I sent her the first 2 chapters. And then what happened was what was really amazing. She sent me the contract. Imagine getting a contract. 2 chapters I sent, a synopsis. She sent me a contract and she said, please, you have to, there's a contract for a novel. In 6 months, I am to submit the manuscript. And that was my first novel, House at Butterfingers. And then it started, right? So then it went on like that. This was my quiet secret when I was in college. Not many people knew I was writing for Tinkle, Butterfingers. But when House at came, they got to know. And then 1 or 2 more books. And after that, I retired. And I just switched tracks. From being a teacher, I just switched on to being a writer because that career had taken off by itself. So that actually is my journey, and I'm enjoying writing now. So actually, that is how I happened to become a writer. That's not an ambition. Accidentally, it happened. But let me tell you, even if I say it happened accidentally, there really was no need for me to have sent that entry, right? Why did I send that entry? When I saw that entry for the competition, a short story competition, maybe unconsciously, subconsciously, somewhere in me, there was a desire to get a story of mine out there. I don't know. Because though I tell myself afterwards, when I was analyzing, I was thinking, I keep telling people that I didn't want to become a writer, but if I didn't want to become a writer, why did I write that first story? I wrote it because I wanted to write, and I sent that. So that happened. And then after that, a series of events happened. So it's a question of things that happen half accidentally, then some things where you need to take the initiative. Sometimes it is a little frustrating, a lot of things, but in the end, it's very rewarding because if I'm writing and enjoying writing, it's only because I also love reading. Reading is my first love anyway. I mean, my husband is somewhere there, I'm here. So it is, I just enjoy reading. I enjoy writing. But if you ask me, if you give me half an hour and you tell me, do you want to read or do you want to write? I think I will say I want to read. That's what I love doing. So if I'm writing and enjoying it, it's only because I enjoy reading. So that's how it is. And I do not know about you people, what you want to do. I'm sure you will have a lot of questions to ask me and so on. But there's one thing I will tell you, which is, you must have heard the phrase struggling writer, right? Everyone talks about a writer as a struggling writer. Yes, the writer struggles. Unless you hit the big league, you're the top 2 or 3 very, very popular, commercially successful writers. You will get, I don't think you can make a very, a living out of just writing. I feel that you should have a job, a proper job, which will give you your bread and butter, and writing will give you some jam, right? So that is how it is. But if you want to make a career out of writing, you can become a journalist. You can do, I mean, you can write, but it is a rather precarious thing. Because always we want, not even journalist jobs now are pretty precarious. So many journalists lost jobs during the pandemic. Whoever thought that would happen? So if nothing is secure, nothing is certain in this world. So what I would say is that plan your future in such a way that there is an element of security there. At the same time, follow your dream also. Don't give up on that. If you can reconcile both, and if you can have both together, that would be very nice if you can manage that. Not everybody would be able to do that, but then immediately, but what I would say is that never give up. You have to keep on being at it, and I'm sure you'll all be successful. Yes, Ashley, Twinkle, that is what I have to say. And we have another some time for
we have time. We have time. Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. So
by the
I
way,
guess
are you all
we-
asleep? I mean, it's afternoon, after lunch, and I always tell my students that we are all anesthetists. We teachers. Actually, I don't know about you, but we consider ourselves anesthetists who are very good at putting people to sleep. So in the afternoon, we are especially effective. So if I've done that, I really do not know, because I can't see most of you and I don't know what's happening. But if you are asleep, please wake up. I have finished my speech.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. So now I guess we can move on to the interactive session.
Yeah.
So kindly type your questions in the chat box. The session will be moderated by Ms. Twinkle Janardhanan, Faculty of English Department. Ma'am, please.
Thank you, Afia. Good evening, everyone. If you have any questions, please do type it in the chat box. I'll read out the questions. So I think by the time, okay, yeah, they have started
Yeah.
typing. So we
Started.
have a question from Sri Lakshmi.
Yes.
When we are deciding on a career path, what factors should we keep in mind?
When you are deciding on a career path, I think you should, first of all, your career should be, generally it is something to do with your studies, right? You have taken a course and then your career will be, will reflect that. So what you have to keep in mind would be what kind of a career. See, very often for women, they think of women having safe careers where you don't have to work late. And always earlier, it used to be teaching, always the popular vocation for a woman, then medicine, nursing. These were the standard jobs, but now it's not like that. So I think you should opt for a career. When you look at a career, it should be something that suits you, that fits into your time, that you think you would be able to do well, that you can handle well. Also the kind of, maybe the emoluments, the salary also has a role to play. But mostly for me, if you ask me, I would say that I would like to do a job that I enjoy doing, which doesn't happen all the time. No, you can't always get a job that you enjoy doing. Now, I don't think I would enjoy teaching now. Certainly I wouldn't. If I had to use all these gadgets and all this uncertainty, I don't know. I love the classroom atmosphere. I love lecturing. All that is gone now. So I don't know whether teaching is a particularly enjoyable vocation now. But when you are looking at a career, I think you have to keep in mind the fact you must see if you are equipped for that career, if you can do justice to that career, if that career will help you, if there are all those things you have to keep in mind when you are thinking of a career. Because when you're applying for jobs, very often they only ask you for basic qualifications. So you might have those qualifications, but you must also see if the nature of the job suits you, suits your personality, suits your interests, and then apply. Because if you are a misfit in a job, why should you make yourself so miserable? There will be a job that is more suitable for you. But at the same time, we can say that beggars can't be choosers. We are all beggars now because we don't really have much of a choice. Anything that we get, we take. If that is the condition, I think you take up something for the time being, because you can earn some money. You need to. And while you're doing that, scout around, look for a job which you think you will is better suited for you. So I think you should be judicious and careful when you're choosing jobs.
Thank you, ma'am. I think we have one more question from Zaya.
Yeah.
Can you please share with us the origin of the character Amar? You told us about how you started writing, as you sent it as a competition, but we would like to know how you
Yes.
zeroed in on the character.
Zeroing in on the character Amar, actually Amar is my son's name. The first story that I wrote, that Butterfingers story, the one that got that prize, that famous Butterfingers story that launched me on this career, that in that story, the main character's name was Mukesh. Butterfingers' real name was Mukesh, all right? And his friend was, I think, Sham or something, whereas I made it Kiran. And anyway, because that was a one story thing is what I thought. But later on, what happened was I started writing other stories, and my son would never allow me to use his name. I would use his friends' names, my friends' children's names, neighbors' children's names, and any other name like that. But if I ask him, he'll say, no, don't use my name, don't use my name. So then this regular character thing, suggestion or request from Tinkle happened. And then I thought, okay, Mukesh doesn't, it's a slightly old-fashioned name. So I thought, why not change it to Amar? Then I asked Amar, I asked my son, shall I change Mukesh to Amar? I'm going to have this as a series. And I seriously don't know whether he was listening to me or not. Quite likely he wasn't. And then he shook his head in some direction. I took it to mean yes. And I changed the name. I made Butterfingers Amar and I sent it. And the editor also liked Amar. He said, Mukesh isn't a particularly snappy name. Amar has a nice ring to it. And that is how Amar became Butterfingers. But if you want to know how I created the character Butterfingers, that is because the first story that I wrote, it's a cricket-based story. So I was entering a competition, and I was thinking of writing a story that, or writing a sports-based story, because I thought not too many people will be writing sports-based stories. When you're entering competition, you want to write something that you think will be different from what other people are writing. So though I tell you I entered just like that, the back of your mind, you want your story to be different. You want your story to be very good. All those things are there, concerns are there. So I love sports, cricket, football. I read the paper back to front in a newspaper, and therefore I miss out on news about a holiday. And I've gone to the bus stop and found nobody there, because I have not read that. I have read the cricket news, but I have not read the most important news in the front of the page, that it is a holiday. So I thought I will write a cricket-based story. And Butterfingers is a name. It's not something that I created. It's been there in the English language from the 17th century. It means someone who is clumsy, someone who keeps dropping things. And at home, it's a common name. We sisters used to call one another Butterfingers when somebody dropped something. So I thought, okay, it's a cricket-based story. I'm going to write about a boy who is playing cricket, a mischievous boy. So why not give him the nickname Butterfingers? Because having a Butterfingers on the cricket field will be a lot of fun, because I wanted to write a humorous story. So that was how Butterfingers came. Amar, also known as Butterfingers, the creation of Amar.
Thank you, ma'am. We have one more question. Writing is a creative endeavor. Please tell us the influence of real life experiences in the creative process of writing.
real life experiences in the creative process of writing, in the sense that you're talking about how incidents in life can lead to creative writing, right? See, many of the things that you write are imagined, because in writing, creativity is in your head, in your mind, and imagination is the trigger. No, you need to have a fertile imagination, a working imagination, and so on. But writing and creativity is also all about how observant you are, how you look around how you find the world around you, what you get from there, what you hear people talking about, what you find here and there, and so on. So incidents can also trigger a story, can be the trigger for a story. So I'll just tell you one example of there are several examples. One happened in a school where there was an interactive session with I think it was Trivandrum International School, but there was this boy who asked me, how do you get your ideas? So I said, I get my ideas from anywhere, from everywhere. I just keep my eyes and ears open. That's one thing that you need to do. You're always looking for ideas, because a small incident can lead to a nice, neat story. There you have to use your imagination. So then he said, all right, I will give you an idea. Will you write a story? I said, yes, what's your idea? So he said, all right, Butterfingers is writing an exam. He's sitting near the window. He's writing his exam, and there's a gust of wind, and his answer paper floats out of the window. The breeze takes it out of the window. So I said, all right. And then this boy told me, and then you think. I've done this is the incident I'm telling you. You said you can write from anything. So this little fellow, I think he was in the 6th standard, he's actually throwing me a challenge. Write a story with this. So I said, okay, all right. Then I came home and I thought, all right, Butterfingers writing an exam, the paper floats. What else? That's not enough for a story. So I had to think up the rest of the incidents. And in those cycle of incidents, this is one incident. And I came up with this story, which I called The Mystery of the History Paper, where I have Amar, where I have his principal who has an account in a bank. I mean, the school has got its account, and there's a lot of money there which he needs to use for some purpose, whatever it is. Anyway, that one morning he goes out, and a man falls against him. He steadies the man steadies himself, and Mr. Jagmohan, the principal, comes back to school to find out that his pocket has been picked. He's lost his wallet, he's lost his purse, and his purse had all his cards. You know how it is, you don't remember your bank accounts, everything is 1 mile long. So he has actually he has created a new ID in which he has written out all the numbers, important numbers of his bank accounts, everything. So he now has to stop payment, all those things he needs to do because he has lost his card. And then he sits at the computer and he finds that he cannot remember the password. He just cannot remember the password because he had newly created this account. He thinks and thinks, he knows that it is something to do with a war, with a battle. He knows there's some spice, something involved, but he cannot remember exactly what it was. And he takes a paper and he starts writing all the names of a lot of wars: First World War, Battle of Panipat, this war, that war, all kinds of things. Then he writes cinnamon, ginger, a lot of spices, and nothing clicks. He's getting very upset and time is passing. So his room is downstairs, right above is Amar's room. Amar is writing his history exam. And that is when Amar starts writing his exam furiously, only when everybody is finishing the exam. For half an hour, he scratches his head, he looks around for inspiration. So he's just hotting up to writing and he needs an additional sheet. So he's teacher says, I won't give you. He says, please, sir. And he gets an additional sheet. He starts writing. And that is when this gust of wind takes his paper out. And down below, the same gust of wind takes away the paper on which the principal had been writing all his contribution to what his password could be. So the principal sends his peon to get the paper. The teacher gets angry with Amar and says, go get the paper. The bell rings. Amar runs down, finds a paper floating around. He takes it, and his teacher doesn't even look at it. He pins it and takes it away. And the peon takes the paper that is floating there, brings it to the principal. Principal looks at it, is about to get angry with him to say, this is not my paper, when he sees the Battle of Haldi Gati. That is what Amar has started writing. And he says, Haldi Gati, that is my password. And that is how he gets this password. And then there's a little more to it. So this is an example of how something that happened can lead you to writing a story. It's you realize that there is so much more to it. An incident can be just a small thing. I remember how there was a friend of mine had brought a centipede, one of those rubber centipedes, and just she threw it around on the floor. And I actually very bravely, I told everyone move aside, I'm going to kill it. I took my chapel and kept on hitting it, and everyone started laughing, and I found out that it was a fake centipede. But that incident was enough for me to create a completely new story. So these little incidents, you can use them, and then use your imagination, connect it, because you have to have a cause effect sequence when you are writing a story, and then you create something. So it is all part of the game. What advice do you have for the budding writers in our college? That's the next question, I think.
Yes, ma'am. We do have a few students who write poems,
Writing?
short
Okay.
stories. Yeah.
So I'm very happy to hear that. So I would wish them all the best. What I would like to, this is a question I'm generally asked very often, what advice I would give. Usually I hate giving advice. Actually, you must ask your wife, Ashwati. It's I try not to give advice, but I will give you a few suggestions. And what I would like you to do is, number one, be a good reader. You have to be a good reader. You can't become a good writer unless you are a good reader, because writing happens on the foundation of reading. So that is number one. You must read. Various reasons why you need to read. As I said at the beginning, why I was telling you, please read. When I told you, please use this time to read, I did not mean that you should read in order to become writers. I just wanted you to read to enjoy yourself, and how your language improves, how your mind improves, how you go broad, how you get to be broad-minded, how you understand how the rest of the world is, what it is all about. You read fiction and non-fiction. Both will help you. But if you want to become a writer, what happens is that all that you read, because you're reading because you like reading, so when you do something that you love doing, it remains in your head always. Even when you are studying something that you like, it remains in your head. When you're studying something for an exam, the moment the exam is over, you forget it. So when you are reading because you enjoy reading, what you are reading remains in your head. You're not conscious of it. It's all there. And therefore, what happens is, then your language improves. You're not conscious of that. Your vocabulary improves. You're not conscious of that. So a lot of things are happening to you, which you're not conscious of. That is the beauty of reading. All these changes are taking place and you're not conscious of it. It's all there. So when you start writing, these come out. So you will be a very good writer if your language is sound. Very, very important that your language is mistake-free. Nobody is going to even look at your manuscript if you make grammatical errors, if your spelling goes all right. You can always say that John F. Kennedy couldn't spell well and so on, but you won't get away with that with editors saying, write wrong spelling and say that great. There are a lot of big names, people who cannot spell properly. But if you're going to be a writer, you need to, your grammar should be sound. Your vocabulary should be good. So that is, you might say that is the mechanical part of writing, but it is a very important part of writing, all right? Because that is what is going to get your submission accepted or not. Next comes the other very important thing, that is what you are writing. So for that, what I would say is, writing is hard work. It's not easy. So you have to be very persevering. You have to keep on writing, and you will never really feel satisfied by what you are writing. You will want to keep on revising, writing. So, but never mind. You have to find out what you are good at. Are you good at writing poetry? Are you good at writing short stories? Are you good at writing a novel? You have to find out, and you can find out only by experimenting. All these genres you have to use. So you have to keep on writing. And what I do is I have a book and I write down any idea that I get anytime. If I get some idea, it can come anytime, an idea. I'll think, okay, I suddenly, something comes to my mind. I write it down, because you can't really depend on your memory. You may not remember it later, or you might find somebody talking about something. You might eavesdrop, you might in passing, you might find somebody saying something which you find very interesting. So what I would say is, anything interesting that you read, that comes to your mind, that you overhear, that you hear somebody discuss, whatever it is, if you think there is potential in that to be expanded into any of these, poem, write a story, an article, whatever, write it down. Make it a habit to have a notebook and to write down these ideas that you get. Then also, don't think that, don't decide that you are good at poetry and not good at something else. That is for somebody else to decide. You might have an aptitude for something, but for all you know, you might have a better aptitude for something else. So keep trying other things. And when you write something, give it to somebody, either your peers or your teacher or a friend or somebody in the family. Ask them to read and ask them to tell you exactly what they think. They should not be polite and say it's very nice. They should not also kill the creativity in you by giving a devastating, feedback. That one should not be cruel. But what you want is a realistic estimate. So you must get a frank opinion about what you're writing and try to improve. All right. So what writing is really, really hard work. Like Arnold Bennett says, you have to apply the seat of your trousers on the seat of your chair. What he means is, sit tight and write. You have to keep on writing. You have to, there are writers who are very, very hardworking, in the sense every day they write so many words. They have to do that. It's a compulsion for them. There are some writers who write in fits and snatches. What kind of a writer you are depends on you. There is no hard and fast rule. But if you want to write, then you must realize that it is not something that's, they say it's inspiration, right? But then you know what Edison said. Exactly, 99% inspiration, perspiration, and 1% inspiration. In inspiration is there, but the rest of it is all hard work. So creativity is means a lot of hard work, perseverance, and doggedly going on and on, not allowing yourself to feel disappointed if you get rejections. Rejections can happen, but rejections need not lead to dejection. So you should keep on at it. All right. Wish you all the best, you budding writers. I hope you will do extremely well in your writing.
Thank you, ma'am. Do we have any more questions?
That's it. I think we've also come to the end of our time, is it?
Almost, ma'am.
Yeah.
Afiya, you can continue.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes.
So I guess all the questions are over.
Over. Yes.
Now I'd like to request Gayatri from second BA Functional English to propose the vote of thanks.
Good afternoon, everyone. We have come to the end of the conclusion session. Let me take this opportunity to thank the distinguished guest of this event, Ms. Kairinisa ma'am, for sharing her thoughts through this wonderful interaction. Let me extend my gratitude to our voluntary in charge, principal, and teachers for their valuable support and guidance. Our sincere gratitude to the technical team for their assistance. Finally, let me thank all the participants of this event. Thank you all. Session ends now.
Thank you. So thank you very much. Thank you and wish you all the best. Please continue to look ahead. And I hope this look ahead continues. Like the principal said, she wants it to go on every year. And I hope things will turn out to be much better in future. Thank you very much. Wish you all the best.
Thank you, Karen.
Thank you, ma'am.